Welcome, future educators, to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today. You can think of me as your personal instructional coach as we unpack what it truly takes to bring the art of teaching music to life in your future classroom. Today, we're tackling a really critical certification standard, Competency 002J. We're going to take the academic concepts you need to pass your exam and transform them into real, actionable teaching strategies. So, let's get started. I want you to picture a scenario for a second. You're standing up there in front of your very own classroom. You've got 30 students looking back at you. Maybe they've got instruments in hand, or maybe they're a choir. You give the downbeat. They start. And technically, it's flawless. I mean, they hit every single note perfectly. The rhythm is mathematically exact. And yet, as you listen, you realize it sounds completely mechanical. It's kind of like listening to a choir of robots. There's no soul, no life, no feeling whatsoever. It really begs the question, are correct notes enough? As a future teacher, why does the robotic performance matter to you? And more importantly, how do you actually fix it? Section 1. Understanding Competency 002J. Okay, let's dive into this, because this specific challenge, the robot choir, is exactly why Competency 002J exists in the first place. This teaching standard was designed specifically to help you guide your students out of that mechanical phase and into the realm of true artistry. Here is the exact language of Descriptor J for your certification exam. A beginning teacher knows how to teach students to sing and/or play an instrument with expression, both independently and in small groups. Now, notice what is not the focus here. It doesn't say knows how to teach students to merely play the right notes. As future teachers, your job goes far, far beyond ensuring mere mechanical accuracy. Your ultimate goal is helping students move beyond simply playing correct notes and rhythms, and instead helping them perform with true expression. Section 2. The language of musicality. To achieve this in the classroom, we really need to master the academic vocabulary. We're going to learn the language of musicality. You need to know these terms inside and out, not just because they're going to show up on a multiple-choice test, but because this is the very language you will use to communicate effectively with your future students when you're standing on the podium. Let's start with the big one, expression. By definition, expression is the communication of emotion or meaning through performance. In practice, well, this is that magical moment when a student truly connects with the emotional core of a piece of music. It's when a lullaby actually sounds soothing, or a march actually sounds triumphant. Your job is to give students permission to feel the music and the tools to project that feeling outward to the audience. And that naturally brings us to our next term, phrasing. Phrasing is the grouping of musical notes into meaningful musical ideas. You can think of phrasing as musical punctuation. I mean, imagine if you were reading a book out loud without any commas or periods. It would just be a long, exhausting string of random words, right? Well, music works the exact same way. Phrasing is how you teach a student to group notes together to create a compelling musical sentence, letting the music breathe naturally. Next up is articulation. This is defined as the way notes are started, connected, or separated. I want you to prompt yourselves right now. Imagine your future classroom. You're making the instructional decision to ask students to play a sequence of notes. Do you want those notes flowing smoothly together like a gentle stream? Or do you want them sharply separated, detached, maybe a little bouncy? That choice, and teaching your students how to physically execute that choice, is articulation. When you combine expression, phrasing, and articulation, you arrive at musicality. This is the ability to perform music expressively and artistically. Musicality is the ultimate classroom goal. It's the final destination where all those individual technical skills come together to completely elevate the student's performance from a mere recitation to a true work of art. When we look at these concepts side by side, we have accuracy, which is correct notes and rhythms, contrasted with musicality, which is emotion, phrasing, and articulation. Contrasting these two is absolutely vital for your pedagogy. Accuracy is the skeleton. It gives the music its structure and shape, and yes, it's absolutely necessary. But musicality, that is the heartbeat, the soul, the life of the piece. A student simply achieving technical accuracy is basically doing math. A student performing with musicality is making art. Section 3, application. Sing it twice. So, how do we actually get them there? I mean, it's great in theory, but what does this really look like when you're teaching your own students? Let's move smoothly from theory to practice by introducing a concrete, highly actionable routine you can literally use in your classroom tomorrow. It's called Sing It Twice. Step 1. Have the students sing or play the notes accurately. You secure the foundation first, get the mechanics down. But you definitely don't stop there. Step 2. You perform it again, but this time you instruct the students to adjust the dynamics, the tempo, and the phrasing to communicate the mood of the music. You layer on the emotion. Basically, the first time is for the head, and the second time is for the heart.
Section 4, Reflecting on Student Impact.
I want to pause here for a second and invite you to reflect. Really put yourself in the shoes of your future students. How might they respond to the Sing It Twice strategy? Think about how this supports diverse learners. By separating the technical accuracy from the emotional expression, you're dramatically lowering their cognitive load. A student who might be struggling with a really complex rhythm doesn't have to worry about the emotional phrasing until they've secured the notes. It completely changes the classroom experience, making it so much safer to take creative risks. But we also have to remember a critical part of the standard we discussed earlier. Expression must be practiced both alone and in small groups. Independent and collaborative practice. This means you have to design lessons where a student can explore their own unique musical voice in isolation, and then figure out how to blend that expressive voice within the dynamic of a small ensemble or a large choir.
Section 5, Exam, Prep, and Beyond.
Now let's pivot toward preparing you directly for certification success. We are going to distill the absolute most critical takeaways from our source material so you know exactly what the test makers are looking for when evaluating your knowledge of Competency 0, 0, 2J. You need to prioritize these 3 things. Number 1, expression is just as important as accuracy. Do not neglect one for the other. Number 2, students must be given opportunities to perform independently. And number 3, students must perform collaboratively. So if you see a test question asking for the most comprehensive instructional approach, look for the answer that balances the technical with the expressive across both solo and group settings. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final empowering question to think about. How will you foster musicality in your future students? When you step into that room, what decisions will you make to ensure your students aren't just reciting notes, but truly making music? Keep this vision in your mind as you transition from test takers to transformational classroom mentors. You've got this. Keep learning, keep preparing, and I will see you in the next explainer.